Are you tired of grief stealing your joy, your energy, and your peace? Hey y'all, welcome to Grief Relief for Christian Women. I'm Patty Jackson. I'm a widow and a Christian grief and trauma coach. Inside the podcast, we'll explore how tears and laughter can exist in the same moment. Joy is still possible, even in the middle of the pain and heartache. You're not alone, and you should not have to figure this out by yourself. Let's trust God and start living life again. Hey y'all, welcome back to Grief Relief for Christian Women. I'm Patty, and I'm really glad you're here today. If you're listening while driving, folding laundry, walking the dog, or sitting quietly with a cup of coffee, I'm honored to spend these few minutes with you. Today I'm talking about something very close to my heart, how people can truly help a widow. Many of you listening are widows yourselves, so you know firsthand how confusing, lonely, and overwhelming grief can feel. But many of you also have friends or family members who want to help someone who's lost their spouse and they just don't know what to do. Most people mean well, honestly, they really do. But let's face it, grief makes people uncomfortable and loss makes people unsure of themselves. Today I'm going to suggest simple, meaningful ways people can help. The kind that actually helped me when I was in this hard season of grief. Let's start with the first one, showing up. Even when you don't know what to say. One of the biggest gifts someone can give a widow is simply their presence. You don't have to have perfect words. You don't have to have a speech prepared. You don't even have to have the answers to their questions. Sometimes the most healing thing someone can do is sit next to a grieving person and say, "Hey, I'm here." Grief can be incredibly isolating. After the funeral is over and the casseroles stop coming, some widows suddenly find themselves sitting in a quiet house thinking, "Now what?" That's when showing up matters the most. So send the text, make the phone call, stop by with coffee. Your presence reminds someone that they're not walking through this alone. Number 2, keep showing up months later. Here's something some people don't realize. Support is usually strong during the first few weeks after a loss, but after a couple months, life for everyone else goes back to normal, except for the widow. Her world is still upside down. She's still figuring out finances, paperwork, loneliness, and 100 daily reminders that her life has changed forever. One of the greatest gifts someone can give is continued support long after the funeral. Remember the dates that might be hard, like birthdays, anniversaries, holidays, the anniversary of the loss, but remembering her on any day is not a bad thing. If she pops into your mind on any given day, then that might be God's nudge that she might need to hear from you. A simple message that says, "I'm thinking about you today," can mean more than you can imagine. It reminds a grieving heart that their loved one has not been forgotten. So moving on, number 3, offer specific help. When someone is grieving, their brain is overloaded. Even simple decisions can feel exhausting. That's why the phrase, "let me know if you need anything," can actually be hard to respond to. Instead, offer specific help. For example, "I'm going to the grocery store tomorrow. Can I pick up anything for you? I'd love to bring dinner Thursday night. I'm free Saturday if you want help sorting paperwork. Hey, I can mow the lawn this week if you need it." Specific helps remove the pressure of decision making and gives the widow permission to say yes. And let's be honest, after losing a spouse, there are often many tasks that suddenly feel overwhelming. Little acts of service can feel like giant acts of love. Number 4, listen more than you talk. Now, that's a hard one for me. As I mentioned before, I like to talk. Becoming a grief coach helped me to listen more. I'm a work in progress though, so bear with me. So listen more than you talk. This one's huge. A grieving person often needs to tell their story again and again. They may want to talk about the moment everything changed. They may want to talk about memories. They may want to talk about how unfair it feels. Listening is one of the greatest gifts we can offer. Not fixing, not correcting, not rushing the conversation toward positivity. Just listening. Grief needs space to breathe. And when someone truly listens, it allows a widow to process emotions that might otherwise stay bottled up inside. Okay, number 5, don't rush the healing process. Grief does not follow a schedule. There is no 6-month timeline. There is no "you should be over this by now." A widow is not just grieving a person, she's grieving an entire life that changed overnight. The future she imagined, the plans they made together, the daily companionship that suddenly disappeared. Grief takes time. Encouraging someone to move on too quickly can unintentionally make them feel misunderstood or pressured. Instead, offer patience, offer grace. Let healing unfold in its own pace. Number 6, include the widow in your life. One thing that can happen after a spouse dies as social circles change. Couples may feel unsure about inviting a widow to gatherings. They may assume she wouldn't want to come. Often the opposite is true. Being included can be incredibly healing. So invite her to happy hour, invite her to dinner, invite her to church events, invite her on walks or outings. Even if she says no sometimes, the invitation itself communicates something important. You still belong. Loneliness is one of the hardest parts of widowhood, and simple invitations can bring light back into someone's world. Number 7, pray for her and with her. Faith becomes incredibly important during grief, but sometimes when someone's hurting so deeply, even prayer can be difficult. That's where the support of others becomes powerful. Pray for the widow in your life. Ask God to give her peace. Ask Him to strengthen her. Ask Him to guide her through decisions and uncertainty. Sometimes simply praying with someone out loud can bring incredible comfort. God promises to be near to the brokenhearted, and prayer reminds us that we are never truly alone. Number 8, let her laugh without guilt. This one might surprise some people. A widow may experience moments of laughter during grief, and sometimes that laughter is followed by guilt, as if smiling means she loved her spouse less. But joy and grief can exist in the same heart at the same time. Encouraging laughter, sharing stories, and allowing moments of joy can be incredibly healing. Laughter doesn't erase love. It actually honors the life. And sometimes those lighter moments are exactly what the soul needs to breathe again. Here are my closing thoughts. If you are someone supporting a widow, remember this. You don't have to do everything perfectly. You just have to show up with love, presence, patience, kindness, and consistency. Those things matter more than fancy words or perfect advice. If you're a widow listening today, I want to say something directly to you. You are not alone. There are people who care deeply about you. And even more importantly, God walks beside you in every step of this journey. Psalm 34 reminds us that the Lord is close to the brokenhearted. That means in the quiet house, in the lonely evenings, in the moments when grief sneaks up unexpectedly. He is there, and healing little by little will come. Thank you for spending this time with me today on Grief Relief for Christian Women. If this episode encouraged you, I'd love for you to share it with a friend who may need it. And remember, grief may change your life, but it does not take away the hope God still has waiting for you. Until next time, give yourself some grace. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I hope something in this episode gave you a little peace, a little hope, or maybe even a smile. If it did, would you do me a quick favor? Head over to Apple Podcasts and leave a review. It could help more widows find the courage to take their next step. Until next time, remember, you're not alone and joy is still possible.